license plates. Something originally just required by the government to help identify cars for any criminal reasons or registration and ownership reasons. But what have states done with this requirement? Some require you to have two, a front and a back. Some require just one in the rear. But what do they do artistically with these license plates? What do they do to differentiate each state's license plates? And which ones are better than the others? Let's take a look at them all and put them in a tier list. Okay, here we have the Alabama license plate. I did not think Alabama was going to show up in the license plate game, but honestly, I think they did. This is the first one we're looking at. I'm not familiar with a lot of states' license plates, but this one is genuinely a good artistic piece. The only thing is I don't look at it and get Alabama-specific vibes, so while it's probably going to end up being one of the better looking ones, I don't quite know how I feel about it representing the state as a whole, but it's so pretty that I'm going to put it in A. And based on how this tier list might go, that is probably one I might need to change. I might need to bump it up depending on how well states represent themselves within these license plates. If they don't represent themselves well at all, represent themselves well at all across the board, I'll probably move it up. But that's just where we're starting for now. Alaska's. The Last Frontier. Good slogan on there. The yellow, I'm assuming the yellow license plate might have been a necessity just based on the environment of Alaska being very cold, very snowy, maybe harder to see. So while it hurts itself artistically, I think it does make some sense. Chloe! So the color makes sense for the state. The slogan is a good one. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of just kind of having a cartoonish almost version of the state flag on the center of it. So let's go ahead and just put this one in a nice solid B, because it just, to me, it makes sense and it does represent the state well, but it's not the best looking. Moving on to Arizona. Wow. Arizona, this is probably, I'm going to have to look at the other license plate, but this might be the best one. Grand Canyon State, really nice. I think I'm going to like a little bit of slogans and phrases and nicknames on license plates. And the imagery is beautiful, and it does represent the state well, just based on what you think of when you think Arizona. So this one, I'm going to put it S, very easily. Easy S. Next up, Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas, the natural state, and the diamond. I don't get it. I'm sorry, Arkansas is a state people don't know much about if you're not from there. And I don't even love the look of it. It's not ugly, but I just don't know what any of this means. The natural state, I've never heard that before. Gonna assume it's a big deal to them. Diamonds, I'm assuming they mine them there. I have no idea. That doesn't even sound right. I'm just going to put this in like a... I'm going to put it in D for now. Yikes. Next up is California. Okay. This is just boring. Yeah, there's just nothing here whatsoever. I'm going to put this one... See, Arkansas tried something, so I'll give it credit for that, and I probably will just put it in F. Really boring one. And boring and plain can still work in a license plate, but to me, there's nothing here that represents California at all. I don't know. Next up is Colorado. Okay, yes. This is another really good one. The mountains, Colorado is known for the mountains. Mile highs in Colorado for a reason. Very good representing the state. Not the best picture of mountains, though, that I think you could have on a license plate, so I'm going to knock it down to A, but that is a very strong license plate. Next up is Connecticut. So this is another one that's pretty boring and plain, but it works a little bit better than California's because at least we get a slogan here. Constitution State, that's something. We see like a picture of the state itself. So it's still pretty boring, still pretty plain, but I do actually like this one. I'm actually going to put it in C. I think it did a little bit more than California's to keep the plainness from being too much of a negative. And Arkansas, the reason I have it above that tier entirely is because Arkansas tried something that didn't work, and Connecticut played it safe in a better way than California did, if that makes any sense. Next up is Delaware. Okay, so it gets a slogan, but that's like the only thing about it representing the state. And then I can already think of one license plate, the state that I'm in. I'll be able to understand some of the more subtleties to it that are going to put it tiers above some other states that probably have those same subtleties. Maybe this one has one. I'm just addressing that now when I get to it. But Delaware, it's fine. It has something to it, but I'm just going to put it in D next to Arkansas. You know what? No, because I think it's that clean. Like, it is a very clean license plate, but I will put it in C next to Connecticut. Next up is Florida's. I don't know how fond I am of having a website just plastered on the license plate. The Sunshine State is good. They picked an image to try to represent Florida with the oranges. I'm assuming those are oranges. And then the state itself in the back. So this is a safe one again. Represents the state decently. I'll put it B with Alaska's. I'll put it next to B with Alaska's. But when we think of Florida, I don't know how many positive stereotypes there truly is, so it's kind of hard to make one representing the state to other people's opinions in a flattering way. So we'll just move on to Georgia. Okay, so having a fruit represent the state works a little bit better for Georgia because it's known as the peach state, so it does work. But that's like the only attempt they made at representing it. So Georgia, I'm going to put in C. One solid representation, and everything else is just boring. Next up is Hawaii's. This one is simple and solid in the best way possible. Rainbow representing Hawaii. I'm not actually quite too sure how I feel about that, but I think it works pretty well. It's known as like the vacation state, so that works well. Aloha state, incorporating a little bit of the culture of Hawaii, being a little different than the rest of America. So it's very simple, very plain, but yet does represent the state well. I'm going to put this one in A. It's honestly a weird one because I think the other ones in A are better, but I also think Hawaii's is better than the ones in B. So it's a weird placement, but I'm going to stick it in A. Next up is Idaho. Another really pretty license plate. Famous potatoes. Also what Idaho is known for. This one is a really good one. Actually, this one's a really good one. I'm actually really digging this one, and I think I'm going to put it S. I'm going to put it up there with Arizona. I think this one was really good. Next up is Illinois. I don't know if other states have done this, but differentiating stuff, passenger, B-truck, person with disabilities, motorcycle, they all kind of have their own license plate. I guess they give person with disabilities and motorcycle the same one, but that's really cool. We're going to go with this one, the basic one. Land of Lincoln. So Lincoln is definitely one of the greatest presidents of all time, but tying your whole license plate to him, like that's your whole state identity is Lincoln. One of the few presidents you could probably effectively do that with. A city skyline in the background. It's cool. I'll put it B. This one is different than the one I'm going off of, but I'm going to put it B. Next up is Indiana. So it looks like Indiana has a different license plate, a newer license plate from when this tier list was made, and based on what I'm seeing in that picture, they made an upgrade. This one is really nice. It's very cartoony, but in a very good way that I really do enjoy. I feel like I should know what this is. I've definitely driven through things similar. I don't know if it's supposed to be an iconic one or it's just the imagery that they chose, but it's very nice, very beautiful. But again, nothing quite screaming Indiana. It's just a very nice scene, but that's still pretty solid. It's kind of what so I'll just put it with Alabama's because it was kind of the same thing Alabama did, where it's very pretty, and the locals probably are able to really connect it with their home. But as someone not from there, there's nothing that makes me think of the state. Next up is Iowa. Iowa may or may not have a new license plate, or this is the new license plate, but the websites of Iowa refuse to show you the license plate, so I'm going off this one, which is the same one within the tier list. Good imagery. I don't quite love it as much as I did Alabama's or Indiana's, so I'm going to put it a tier below. So I'm just going to go with B. It was very nice looking, but not as artistic as the other ones. Not as loud as the other ones in a good way, and doesn't scream Iowa to me. There should have been some corn in there. I think they had silos, but nothing outright. Next up is Kansas. All right, powering the future with wind turbines in the back. Is Kansas known for wind energy? I'm in Texas. I know we lead that shit, or at the very least we're up there. So it's hard for when I see wind turbines. This is coming down to my own personal experiences. I do think Texas, so this one doesn't hit as much for me. It's not an ugly one though, for sure. The coloring is nice. It's different than this one. I'm gonna put it D. I'm sorry. Next up is Kentucky. Kentucky, unbridled spirit, image of the state. It's kind of just like Connecticut's. It is pretty much just like Connecticut's. Even the coloring is pretty simple, so it's going to go in C. It's, easy on the eye, but, not much there. Next up, Louisiana. Sportsman Paradise with a pelican on it. The only reason I know New Orleans... Come on, guys. The only reason I know Louisiana is known for pelicans is because they have a sports team there, but that does help me associate pelicans with that state. So this is a pretty solid one. Nice image of a pelican, a nice little almost sunset coloring there. California, this is why you're an F, because this is the exact same thing California has. I don't know who came up with it first. If it's California, I don't care. It makes you less unique. But I'm going to put Louisiana's in B. Next up is Maine. Vacation land, Maine. Very aware of what they are. I do appreciate that. Nice little image there. A fitting tag. I'll put them in B as well. I'm going to put Maine in B as well. Next up is Maryland. All right, so this is another state that has a new license plate different from what this tier list has. It's just the state flag, so it's a weird one to rank. I think I'm going to put it C. If this was most other states, I'd probably put it D, but Maryland has a better state flag than most other states, so I'm going to put it in C. Next up is Massachusetts. Ooh, oh man. Did California just find a new partner? I think it did. There's nothing here. I know I've been putting some up for having slogans, but they still had some other things, some better coloring, like an actual image to the license plate to save it. But this one, there's nothing here. This is F. Spirit of America, Massachusetts? No, sure. Next up is Michigan. All right, Michigan's really playing in to the college there. Water Winter Wonderland. I almost find that funny. It's almost like a joke. It's true. It does fit Michigan very well. The colors. I mean, I'm going to go off base my experiences, what I know. Those colors scream Michigan, just because they're the Michigan colors. So, again, and it's different from this one. This license plate here was showed to be like a specialty one. So I'm going to put it B. I'm going to put it B. That was a pretty good license plate. Next up is Minnesota. Advocating for people to explore the state. I kind of like. 10,000 lakes, a nice little fun fact on it. An image of the lake up top. The more you look at this plate, I think the more you should like it. A little image of the state itself. That's not going to be too much of a plus, but it's never going to be a negative. This is a really solid license plate. I am actually kind of torn. I actually really like this one. Is it S though? Is it S though? Honestly, I think it is. I actually do think it is. I think it's a very good representation of the state. A fun fact on there. You got it. Mississippi's turn. All right, so this is one that has changed. Another one from what this tier list has the license plate shown as. So this is the Mississippi license plate. So there's definitely some symbolism here that I don't know. I mean, the S is all interloop, which is nice. Is this just the I can't tell. Is this? It looks like it's just the country seal, but it must be the state seal. Lauderdale. I don't know if it always says Lauderdale, if it shows different cities. I'm not sure. I don't even actually know what Lauderdale is. As far as I know, it's a city. Fort Lauderdale is what I think of. I wish I knew what this symbolism was, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it the plus for it. I'm going to put it in... Is it quite A? Is it quite A? I'm going to say no. I'm going to put it in B. Next up is Missouri. Okay, so there must have been a major overhaul in license plates after this tier list was made, because there's been a lot of different ones. This is another one. I can't see, though. I can't actually tell if they made an upgrade. I'm going to assume they did. I'm going to assume they made an upgrade. This is a nice one, right? Very good. It's a quieter license plate, which is probably a good thing. Bicentennial. So so they celebrated their 200 years with a new license plate. Assuming the state seal in the background, pretty basic colors. Maybe it wasn't an upgrade. I'm going to put it C. Very boring license plate, but not a bad license plate. C, these are still good license plates. C and up are good license plates. That's where the line is. Next up is Montana. Treasure State, a nice little bull or bison in there. I mean, the state... This is the most unique way of showing the actual shape of the state, so it gets a plus for that. But how big of a plus? It's better than these ones. Is it as good as these ones? I'll say yes. I'm going to put Montana's in there. Next up, Nebraska. Y'all, in or out? Trying to record still. Another state with a new license plate. It's hard to see what exactly is going on in the background, but I do like it. But what does this have to do with Nebraska? But I do like it. But again, what does it have to do with Nebraska? It's even to a greater difference than the ones I had up here, where I was like, I like the imagery, but it doesn't scream that state. I could still totally believe it being in that state. This is like some Greek mythology one, so it's very hard to rank because I like the image, but I don't get the connection. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that there was a reason for the connection that does make sense that I just don't know. I'm going to put it in B. Next up is Nevada. Another state, another new license plate from this tier list. Home means Nevada. And some mountains here. This is a solid one. I'm going to put it A, honestly. I don't know. I mean, very stylized mountains, which I really liked, that are good with the state. Nice state slogan. Not sure how true it is, but very solid. Next up is New Hampshire's. New Hampshire. I am not actually sure if this is the main New Hampshire plate, just because I was having a hard time finding them on any official website, and the Wikipedia wasn't even loading the images properly. So New Hampshire, it seems like it might be a state with like different license plate for different things. So I'm going off of this one. Live free or die. Dope slogan. It's dogs walking around in case anything's been picked up. Going to put it... C. Gonna put it C. Next up is New Jersey. New Jersey, the Garden State. New York's garden, to be more specific. Little picture of the state itself. I feel like I've put the ones that are plain but still aesthetically pleasing in C, so I'm going to stay consistent there and I'll put it in C. It was close to going in D, though. Next up is New Mexico. New Mexico's a 100-year commemorative plate that I think they still use. This is from the state flag. I'm not entirely certain the history of it, but I know it's from the state flag on there. The colors are really nice. Land of Enchantment. I'm going to be honest, this one, I'm going to put it S. It's a really nice plate to look at. Putting an S. Next up, New York. All right, New York. Excelsior. I don't know why that's on the New York license plate. I'm trying to remember where that's even from. Okay, I looked it up. Totally makes sense why it's there. My bad. And I think it does a good job of representing the city of New York, that's what New York is known for. And the more rural side of it, Niagara Falls. That's probably not Niagara Falls. The city of it, and then the more rural side of New York works very well. This is a pretty solid license plate, honestly. This is probably going to be S. And look at that. It's another one that's different from this tier list. I don't know how old this tier list is, man. Next up, North Carolina. All right, first in flight. This is what North Carolina has been known for since the flight. I mean, I guess they haven't done anything else. This is the only thing they cling to. I don't know why I'm getting very aggressive towards North Carolina. I actually did used to live there. So I'm just I feel like there could be more there. But it is something to be proud of, but there's more there. You could do more. I'm going to put it in C, just because it's so overdone. Next up is North Dakota. I feel like the less populated, less going on in states, and that's not a bad thing. That is actually maybe a good thing. But those states seem to go crazy on these license plates. This one is amazing. Peace Garden State, legendary North Dakota. Call them their shot. It's going to be very clear to read text. A great image here. This is a beautiful license plate. I'm putting it in S. Next up, Ohio. I will not be making any low-hanging fruit, overused Ohio jokes. Okay, this is the loudest license plate so far, and North Carolina, probably not too fond of this. Birthplace of aviation? Is that what that says? Is that what that says? I can't, it's hard to read. It is, wow. Nice shot. Weird call out. I'm going to believe them, but the birthplace of flight is North Carolina. So we have two states trying to claim the same thing. And I know that they're not quite the same, but still very similar. And I know the North Carolina one is 100% true, so I'm not sure the difference they're trying to make, and it can't be a huge difference, so I don't know why Ohio is trying to cling to it too. It's a very loud license plate. It's a great image, but man, does it really work on a car? I doubt it. I'll put it I'm gonna put it in D. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna put it in D. I think I just have to put it below North Carolina's. Next up is Oklahoma. I never was able to actually read what state this was. I've seen this so many times when cars have done dumb shit here in Texas. I've been wondering which state it was. It's fucking Oklahoma's. Distinct one. I like the bird silhouette, the nice blue. It's a good license plate. I'm going to put it B. Next up is Oregon. Really digging Oregon's. This is kind of the imagery you would associate Oregon with. Very simple, very nice, super clean. I'm going to put it A. Maybe what's holding it back a little bit is that scene, that imagery can be found in other states, but it's still very Oregon, so I'm going to put it in A. Next up is Pennsylvania. What is this? What is this? I don't know. A website. Not the fondest of it. Cool, there's the state. This is not a good one. Uh-oh, another F tier. Next up is Rhode Island. I think Rhode Island also has gotten new plates from when this tier list was made. I love the anchor, ocean state, very fitting, the waves, very clean, very nice. Gonna put it in A. Next up is South Carolina. All right, another state I used to live in. This is one I actually still visit, as my sister lives there. This is from the state flag, and it is very fitting, at least for the area in South Carolina I had lived. While I breathe, I hope. Great slogan. The colors work, and this is also the colors of the state flag, so it makes sense. It's a very solid, clean license plate. Gonna put it A. Next up is South Dakota. All right, South Dakota, openly admitting to be a one-trick pony type of state with just Mount Rushmore. Great faces, great places. I think I'm gonna have to put in the same tier as North Carolina, so it's going in C, just for the kind of the same reasons, where it's like, yeah, this is cool visually, but I get it. You're known for that. Give me something else, please. Never do. Next up is Tennessee. Okay, good colors. The state name within the state shape is very good. Volunteer state, which is what it is. Website is whatever. State seal, I think. In God we trust. Very clean, solid license plate. I think I'm gonna go B for it, though. I don't know. I can't quite tell you what's holding it back. Next up is Texas. Just looking at these other ones, my state has downgraded its license plate. So, the Lone Star State, represented here and here. It's what we're known for. It's in the flag, so it does make sense. Little image of the state. A lot of license plates have that, and I don't hate them. I kind of like them a little bit, but nothing crazy. And this is what I was talking about, understanding the subtleties of mine versus some of the others. I get the coloring more. It's like the come and take it flag that we put on the cannon, that, you know, known for the cannon, Santa Ana. So I get the reference personally, so I'm able to understand it more, and it helps it. And I do like the clean look, but I mean, they have downgraded. I think in all fairness, I think I do have to put it C. I do like the license plate, but I think we've downgraded. Just looking at some of those other ones. Disappointing. Now for Utah. Ooh, so this is another one I really like. Life Elevated. I don't quite get the reference, but I mean the imagery is so nice. I feel like I'm in a Coyote Roadrunner cartoon with that. Oh man, this is getting too big. Honestly, I'm gonna put it S. It was one of the better looking license plates. It's an S tier. Next up is Vermont. Yikes, Green Mountain State. I get it. You're really leaning into it. This is kind of ugly. I'm going to be honest. This one's ugly. I'm going to put it in F. Next up is Virginia. All right. Virginia. Virginia is for lovers. That slogan is the only thing keeping it out of the F tier because nothing else is happening in it. But slogan alone, gonna keep it above water. Next up, Washington. All right, Washington. Evergreen State. I think that's Mount St. Helens in the back. But this is a good one. I actually really like this one. It kind of has the older license plate style that I sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I think the fact that they've kind of diversified the state so it works better even now. Gonna put it A. I think it really fit the state. Next up is West Virginia. Wild, wonderful. What's happening here? Nothing's happening here. No even like images of the state. Just a slogan. I like the coloring though. Is it quite F? I think it's a little nicer than these Fs. So I'm going to put it a tier above it and I'm going to go to Wisconsin. Okay, so I like the picture up here. That's very nice. American's Dairyland. I think I'll put it B. I'm going to put it B. Very close, very tough, but I'm going to put it in B. And for the final state, we have Wyoming. Thank you, Wyoming, for finishing us off on a high note. This one is great. This one has been used in other license plate. They keep it because it works very well. It's just a beautiful image of the state behind it. It doesn't have anything else to really share besides the beauty of the state. And that's not a shot. This is obviously a beautiful state. Look at it. This is an S tier license plate. We finish on such a great license plate. Thank you, Wyoming. That is the tier list. Try not to look too hard at this image specifically because I'm going off of what the current license plate is, not even entirely what the license plate on this tier list is. But thank you for watching. Next week, I have a video coming out that I've been working on for months. Please subscribe to watch it. It's a long one. It's a good one. I promise it. I put so much work into that video. Stay tuned for that greatness and keep gaming.